Chapter 29, Revolutions in the National States in the Atlantic World, Causation. Context. During the early modern era, 1500 to 1800, global individuals commenced a period full of interactions and communications for the first time. As the popularity of commercial and cultural trade grew, establishments of new societies around the world emerged. Europe, specifically, acquired the great advantage of maritime trade and soon developed wealthy amounts of profits, further instituting their dominance on the rest of the globe. Thesis statement. During the early modern era, specifically 1750 to 1914, countries in the Eastern Hemisphere entered an age consisted of revolutions regarding the development and improvement of Enlightenment ideals, roles of women, and the nationalist thought. Enlightenment ideals. Context. During this period of time, an intellectual movement known as the Age of Enlightenment emerged after the Scientific Revolution, about 200 years earlier than the American and French Revolution, and diffused among European areas and eventually the Americas. These ideals included equality, freedom, and the concept of popular sovereignty. Evidence 1 and 2. This caused and influenced revolutionary movements in the Eastern Hemisphere. The Americas, early United States, decided to disregard British rule and start an independent federal republic. This consisted of the development of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the U.S. These two documents displayed Enlightenment influence through its values of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In France, they performed the same revolution. They overthrew their monarchy and also established a republic. The government developed a National Assembly in which members created a new constitution embarking liberty, equality, and fraternity. Roles of women. Context. During the time of the American, French, and Haitian revolutions, women transformed Enlightenment values regarding their liberty and rights in society. Evidence 1. Ideals from the Enlightenment also developed further because of the fight for women's rights. Social reformers challenged conservative views by using Enlightenment thoughts to advocate for women's rights. For instance, English author Mary Astell questioned, if men were born free, all women were born slaves? Another writer, Mary Wollstonecraft, also wrote an essay called A Vindication of the Rights of a Woman, encouraging the thought that women should have all the rights acquired by men as set by John Locke. Evidence 2. With the development of the National Assembly and the Convention, rights of women in France arose. The Republican government provided both boys and girls with free public education, legalized divorce, and gave the women of the family a share of the family's wealth. In America, a feminist named Elizabeth Cady Stanton fought for women's rights by forming an organization held at Seneca Falls, New York. Nationalism. Context. Through the battles of the French Revolution, the ideas of a new complex concept known as nationalism came to be. Feelings of intense devotion and superiority of one's nation spurred the ideology of nationalism. Evidence. Through constant warring, Europeans thought themselves to be a part of a distinctive national society, meaning they were greatly unique from other nations. Cultural nationalism appeared through Johann Gottfried von Herder, in which he sang praises of the German folk and how their language expressed uniqueness in their society, considering them one of a kind. Political nationalism emerged from the Italian nationalist Giuseppe Mazzini, in which he created a group called Young Italy, where he advocated that an Italian national state should be formed, straying from the grasp from Austria and Spain. Synthesis. After the spooled events of the American, French, and Haitian revolutions, regions in the Eastern Hemisphere improved in social, cultural, and political movements. An example of this would be in the next era, the modern age, in which women are now entitled to civil rights and the usage of Enlightenment ideals are still present in today's democratic society in the States. The end.